I stopped being able to tell the difference between the work that actually lit me up and the work I was just grinding through because of habit. And you cannot diagnose the treadmill while you're still running on it, right? You have to step off of that bad boy. You've got to get outside. You got to get under the deck in a completely new environment. And when I did, the growth I couldn't force and couldn't figure out and couldn't recognize that I needed happened. Welcome to the Creative Bodega podcast. I'm Em Connors, Instagram content strategist, one of 43 Canva verified experts worldwide, and a mom of two who is not on Instagram for fun. I'm there to market my business, grow my email list, and get the heck off my phone. And that's exactly what I teach. You can expect simple content strategy, visual systems, and Instagram to email tactics that actually work without taking over your life. Let's get into it. So I'm back. I took 3 weeks off from my business, but not really completely my business, really just posting on Instagram for 3 weeks. 3 whole weeks of not posting, which has been my go-to place to promote and grow my email list, which if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that not posting is very much not my thing. I post a lot, and I actually really enjoy making posts, but more on that later. During this 3-week break, I still sent my beloved weekly newsletter called 321 Create. And I also sent out or published my weekly podcast. So those two things, the amount of work that goes into prepping for them, recording them or writing them and scheduling them to go out is so little in comparison to the amount of time that it takes me to create posts every week. It's actually kind of insane. That is one major thing that I took away from my break. I had so much time. Whereas if I were kind of scrambling to create posts and put them out there and engage with people and all the stuff that goes with posting, I would have had a lot less time on my hands. But I basically pre-scheduled the newsletters. I pre-scheduled the 3 weeks of podcasts, and I really tried to step back from my business and just give myself time and space to think and ideate and dream and journal. And I'm not a big journaler. I'm not going to lie. It's not an easy thing for me to do. I would rather, and I did actually set up a project inside of Claude called My Journal, and I would just talk. I would turn on the mic and I would just talk. And then sometimes I wrote in my notebook because I had to go down on the dock and I didn't have great service, so I couldn't use it, or I didn't want to be on my laptop. So I would just journal and write. And then I'd actually come back and speak it into the journal project inside of Claude just to get all my thoughts out somewhere. And it felt really, really good. So during this break, I still sent my newsletter and I still published my weekly podcast because I am the consistency queen, right? If I say I'm going to do something in my business, I commit to it. And I literally make it my mission to find a way and find a system to make it happen. That's just my jam, honestly. But I want to tell you about some of my aha moments during this break, of which there were so many. Some of them were really small and minute, and some of them were humongous, okay? But first, I need to tell you about 2 members of my family. I was about to say they're not alive, but they are actually alive. They are fiddle leaf fig trees. Do you know what a fiddle leaf fig is? Okay. If you do not, I'm going to link it in my show notes because everybody should know what a fiddle leaf fig is. They are trendy. They are beautiful. They are these bushy, huge, leafy trees that look incredible in the corner of your house. And they're an absolute pain in the ass to keep alive. You look at them wrong, and I swear to God, a leaf turns yellow before your eyes and falls off. But I have had one of them for 12 years. So I got one of them when I was living in New York City. So that's 12, 13 years old. And then I gained another one about a year or so before my son was born. So that's probably 10 or 11 years old at this point. In New York City, they charged me over $100 for this tree. Like, what a joke. But I wanted it that badly that I did it. And the second one, I actually got for free from a friend of mine who worked at like a plant flower store, and she gave it to me, and it was like the best day of my life. She didn't give it to me, but she gave me a huge discount. So I'm not exaggerating when I tell you these things are straight up diva plants. They want the exact right amount of light. They want the exact right amount of water, not too much, not too little. And yeah, they're a lot. So the fact that I've kept two of them alive for so many years is actually a small miracle. So stay with me. I promise you I'm getting somewhere. Every year, right around the same time, about late spring, when there is no threat of a freeze, there's no threat of a frost happening, I do the same thing with these trees. I trim them down. So over the winter and the fall and they're inside, they're just not really happy inside. So they drop leaves, and sometimes there's like huge gaps between leaves, and I will trim that off. Sometimes I propagate those, which I'm actually doing right now, and sometimes I don't. But I trim them back because they look a little sad and a little sparse after being in my house for 3/4 of the year. And I have my husband carry them outside. My lower back is trash. So I'm like, knock, knock, Rob, can you please carry these outside? And I tuck them under our deck out back in the shade. They do not want to be in the direct sun. They are fully in the shade, but they still get enough natural light and all the glorious rain. Okay. It has to be a draining pot. So I take out the part of the pot that sits at the bottom that would catch all the water. I take that off for this time outside, and I put them outside. And every single year, the same thing happens. They freaking explode with new growth. Like, I'm not even kidding. Huge, happy, glossy leaves everywhere. Growth that I could never have gotten out of them if they were sitting in the same spot in my office or in my kitchen. That's where they both go. This new environment just does something for them that sitting in the same old spot in my house never could. And I had an aha moment in the shower the other day thinking about my trees, because I'm pretty sure what they experience every summer is exactly what I just experienced during my 3-week hiatus from posting on Instagram. We went up to New Hampshire, my favorite place in the entire world, to a lake that I've been going to my whole life every single summer. And then we came back down to New Jersey, where I spent 2 weeks at my parents' beach house with my kiddos, a few of my siblings, and their kids. It was complete chaos in the absolute best way. And for the first time in a really long time, I wasn't chasing anything. I was not opening the Instagram app to check how something was performing. I wasn't hopping in Canva every single day to create a quick post to go out the next day. I wasn't sitting there at night, saying, gosh, why did that post flop? What is trending right now? What am I posting tomorrow? Seriously, this time off made me realize how much brain space and bandwidth posting on Instagram is taking up in my head. I was just outside. I was just in nature. I was just with my family. And here's what I noticed. For 3 years, I have been busting my ass to get posts out on Instagram 6 times a week, every single week for literal years, 9 years to be exact, between owning our CrossFit gym and me running the Creative Bodega. And somewhere in that stretch of time, I stopped being able to tell the difference between the work that actually lit me up and the work I was just grinding through because of habit. And you cannot diagnose the treadmill while you're still running on it, right? You have to step off of that bad boy. You've got to get outside. You got to get under the deck in a completely new environment. And when I did, the growth I couldn't force and couldn't figure out and couldn't recognize that I needed happened. Not on the app, in my own little head that actually still works to create thoughts. So here's the big thing, and I'm a little nervous to say this out loud because honestly, I've never done this before in my business. In 9 years of being online, 9 years of posting 6, 8, 9 times a week on Instagram. 9 years of between running our gym and running my business. I've never had a change like I am about to do, however you say that. I have decided to go all in on email marketing and teaching newsletters, to be specific, helping you build the thing that you actually own, that the algorithm does not touch. That's the direction. And that's where I'm going to be pointing everything. And a few things that come with that. I'm going to be hiring a whole bunch of my offers. I'm simplifying my entire offer suite so way down, which feels so good and so less scattered than I've felt in years. And I'm going to be real with you. That decision feels amazing. Like total weight off, like cutting back the sad branches before I put the plant outside. Okay. The content covenant's not going anywhere. So do not panic if that's your home base or if you've thought about joining. It is not going anywhere. It is too valuable. The women inside are too phenomenal. If anything, it's just going to shift a bit more towards email, newsletters, freebies, and launching, and how to grow your email list, which I think is going to make it even better. And here's another part that's probably the most unlike me if you know me. I like to have everything figured out. I don't like the purgatory of in between, okay? And I'm in between right now. I want to have everything figured out, and I do not. I do not have all the answers right now. I don't have every single date. I don't have everything, every price, every detail, how I'm going to show up on Instagram moving forward, where I'm going to be showing up instead. I don't know yet. That's the part that's to come. And I'm actually very optimistic and very excited to figure that part out because I knew a lot of women who have gotten off social media and have flourished. So I'm not scared at all. I'm telling you this while I'm still in the middle figuring it out because I'd rather bring you behind the scenes, real time, and hear your input and your advice and what you think versus pretending like I've got this all figured out and buttoned up, because pretending is the exact energy that I'm walking away from in this second half of 2026. I want to back up a little bit and tell you about a moment that actually really cracked this all open for me. And it wasn't just during these 3 weeks. About a year ago, I was reached out to by a group, and they wanted me to speak to about 200 plus women in person at a conference in Nashville. They wanted me to come speak, but they weren't quite sure on the topic. It came down to 2 options for them: Instagram and posting, or email marketing flow desk. And they went off to talk about it. And when the answer came back, it was Instagram and posting. And you guys, I literally felt let down by this response, like genuinely deflated, which when I think about it, made 0 sense on paper. They picked the thing that I'm literally known for and was definitely known for a year ago, the thing that I've built my entire name on, the thing that I've taught for 6 years. I should have been pumped, but I wasn't. I wanted them to pick email marketing because, especially for this group of women, I know that that's what's going to move the needle forward for them so much more than any posting. And I sat with that feeling for a year, okay? And it got, it resurfaced in my mind when I was journaling and talking and figuring things out when I was away. The disappointment was the answer. Like sometimes you don't know what you actually want until you flip the coin or give somebody the option. And there's that split second when it's in the air and you catch yourself quietly, or maybe not so quietly, rooting for one of the sides to land. That was my gut and my intuition making the decision for me. I just hadn't really caught up yet. So let me walk you through the why. Not just so that you understand my business, but because I think a few of these things are going to really hit home for a lot of you. The first one is the big one. Instagram was never supposed to be the destination. Somewhere along the way, I feel like I kind of forgot that. The whole point of Instagram from day one was to drive people elsewhere, to get them on my email list. Instagram was my top of funnel, and all I wanted was to get them off of Instagram and onto my email list. I have had my newsletter and my email list since day one of starting my business, before I even had anything to sell, okay? It was the thing that I've always owned. Instagram rented land. My email list is space that I own. You do not own your audience on Instagram. You are borrowing attention from the algorithm that can change the freaking rent anytime it wants, and it does, okay? And I let that top of funnel quietly become the entire funnel, and that was my mistake. I got so busy feeding the beast, feeding the platform and the algorithm, that I forgot that the platform was supposed to feed something else. Email is where the relationship actually lives. It's where the trust gets built. It is where, frankly, sales happen. In fact, my last 3 launches in the last year and a half, I've not posted a single time on social media. Every single one of those launches, I relied entirely on my email list, and I posted stories to get people to purchase, but I never posted on my feed because I knew it was absolutely pointless, okay? The second thing I realized, I've been teaching the mechanics instead of the principles. So Instagram tactics are a treadmill. The algorithm shifts, format changes, the hack that worked last week is dead this week. And every time it changes, I'm over here like trying to rebuild the curriculum. And honestly, the same goes with Canva. That beast is changing every single day. I build a course, within a month, it's obsolete. The interface has changed, buttons have moved. It is exhausting for me as a 45-year-old mom of 2 young kids who's perimenopausal and trying to run a business and the main earner to keep up with these 2 massive platforms that are constantly changing. And I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just not going to lie. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to post, and it doesn't mean that I'm not going to use Canva. Please, I will always use Canva, and I will always post on Instagram most likely, but like, I don't want to be the go-to person to keep people up to date on those 2 things. So you basically don't get to keep anything you build on Instagram tactics wise. It just expires. And email is such a durable skill. Teaching someone how to write to their people, how to communicate to their people, how to think about what their reader needs and wants, how to make an offer and launch something successfully without feeling gross and icky and uncomfortable. That doesn't expire. That's a skill that you will use for the entire life of your business. And I want to teach the stuff that lasts, not the stuff that I have to freaking relearn every 60 to 90 days. Okay. Third, and this is the valuable one, so bear with me. The thing that was draining me wasn't necessarily strategic. It was personal. The metrics, the comparison, the why the hell did this not perform well spiral happening to me at midnight when I couldn't sleep. It wasn't a business problem. It was a me problem. And I could not keep building my entire livelihood on a platform that's quietly eating me alive. I'm not going to lie. I know that sounds dramatic, but I can't keep doing what I'm doing. And this is where my not so little fiddly fig tree comes back in. I didn't fully feel how much it was costing me until I got put in a different environment for 3 weeks. The shade, the rain, the not checking. And here's why I'm telling you the personal part instead of keeping this super strategic and tidy, because I think a lot of you feel the exact thing and you might think it's a flaw, but it's not. You think that you're maybe just not disciplined enough or not tough enough or like not built for this solopreneur world, but it's just not true. You might just be a plant in the wrong spot, okay? You can't always tell until you step away from it. Now, I want to be really clear about something because this is the reframe that really dissolved the guilt for me. I'm not quitting Instagram. I'm not quitting Canva. I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to show up in my stories. You know, that's my absolute favorite place to be. I'm still going to post, probably not as much anymore. I'm just not going to teach it anymore. I'm not going to teach you how to post to get eyes on your stuff because I'm not going to lie, you guys. I just can't keep up with it and I don't know the answer anymore. I'm going to, leave it to the little 25-year-olds to teach us all. I just don't want to teach it anymore. So Instagram will likely stay one of my top of funnels. It's a channel, but not a subject. That one little distinction is going to change a lot for me because for a while there, I thought pivoting really meant burning the whole thing down and abandoning the platform and torching all 9 years of my work, but it doesn't. I get to keep using it as the tool. I just get to stop making the tool my entire identity. And real quick, because I'm sure some of you are wondering, again, same goes for Canva. I'm not going anywhere as a Canva verified expert. There's still so much I can teach within Canva when it comes to email marketing. Your freebies, how to launch, how to create launch graphics, how to create graphics to promote your freebies on social media, how to make beautiful email headers. I mean, there's so many ways that Canva can help me in my business still. So that's not changing. I'm still one of 43 Canva verified experts, and I'm super proud of that. So Canva isn't going in a drawer. It's just getting pointed in a new direction. Okay. So the thing that I love about this whole story is that none of this was a guess. My gut got me here. The bummed feeling when somebody came back to me and said they wanted me to teach something that I didn't feel excited about. 3 weeks off, watching my fiddly figs explode in their new environment downstairs. And then the data showed up and just confirmed the entire thing when I polled my audience in 3 different places saying, what do you need from me this fall to help move the needle in your business? I have 2 programs I'm thinking about running. Originally, I was thinking about running the messaging edit, which helps you completely clarify all your messaging, and or the newsletter system, which is my complete system for writing a consistent, badass, high converting newsletter to your audience consistently. And across the board in my Instagram stories, in my email to my 12,000 subscribers that week, and inside my Coven membership, I pulled all 3 places. And the winner across the board was the newsletter system. So, holy cow, I was just so excited. I'm not sure what I would have done if everybody would have picked the edit. I probably would have felt a little confused and proceeded with my gut and gone with the newsletter system. I'm not going to lie, but it came back overwhelmingly the newsletter side. So that's it. And I'm so pumped. Again, I don't have all the answers. Over the next few weeks, you will be discovering some answers along with me in this podcast. And I could sit here and give you a whole bunch of really impressive email numbers because my newsletter is the bomb and my open rate and click rate is insane. But I'm not going to do that because that's the whole thing I'm actually really trying to get away from is all these metrics that make me feel like I'm a good girl or a bad girl. Okay. But I do want to give you just one because it makes the point better than anything else. My open rate is 53.6%. That is more than half of my subscribers opening my email week in and week out. More than half my lists open what I send them. Now, think about Instagram for a second. When is the last time even close to half of your followers saw a single one of your posts on Instagram? You have what? Probably a couple thousand followers, maybe even 10,000, maybe 100,000, and a fraction, a teeny tiny little sliver actually see any given post. And I'm not going to lie, it's frustrating as hell. And it has gotten worse and worse and worse every year that has gone on since about mid 2023. Okay. So if Instagram vanished tomorrow, gone, poof, I would lose all 125,000 followers because I never owned them. And I just saw one of my friend's husbands, literally that happened to him. He overnight, and he even had the blue check gone. Didn't have an email list. Knock, knock. You should have an email list. But my list is an absolute fraction of that size. 12,000 people is nowhere near 125,000. But those 12,000 I keep forever. And I can drop them a note, an email saying, hey, guess what? My Instagram got hacked, or I decided to get off Instagram. Make sure you're following here. Because I own that. And more than half of them open the door when I knock on it every week. And that's the whole argument right there. It's not about the size of the room. It's about how many people can actually hear you when you talk. And if you are relying solely on Instagram, I'm sorry, you need to find a new room, and a room that you own, and that is your email list. So this is the part that ties the whole fiddle leaf fig thing together for me. I post on Instagram 6 days a week, and that's the thing that was draining me. I send my newsletter once a week, and that's the thing that reaches my people and pays my freaking bills and takes so much less bandwidth and time. It's not even funny. One of those is a grind, and the other one is pure growth. I was pouring the majority of my energy into the channel that gives me the least back, and that's really sad to say. And I was treating the channel that gives me back the most like a side project, and it's backwards. I honestly had it completely backwards. And here's another reason I want to tell you. I have sent a newsletter every single week for more than 5 years, over 290 of them at this point. I've never missed one. And the kicker is I'm not a writer. I'm also the least techie person in the world. And starting a newsletter was by far the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my business. I dreaded it. I told anyone that would listen, I don't want to do this. I can open Canva and lose 3 hours of my life and feel amazing. Put me in front of a blank page and tell me to write something worth someone's time every week, and I wanted to throw my laptop out the window. Okay. So if you're sitting there thinking, I can't do this email thing because I'm not a writer, what am I going to talk about every week? Or like, do people really want to hear from me? Yeah, they do. And I've built a 6-year never miss newsletter streak while being the least righty writer you've ever met in your life. So it's not about being good at writing. It's about having a system that makes it feel incredibly easy and fun and doable. And that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching you inside the newsletter system. So that's where we're headed. Over the next few episodes, I'm going to go more deep on email and newsletter struggles that I'm hearing and how to fix those struggles. I'm not going to be making these up. I went back and reread all of my intake forms from every past round of my previous email program, Start and Grow Your Email List. Women in wildly different businesses, all telling me the same handful of things. Things like, I don't know what to send every week. I feel annoying emailing my list every week. My list is not growing at all. I don't know what to write. I hate staring at the blank screen. We're going to unpack all of it one step at a time. So hit subscribe. If you are not following along on this podcast, do whatever it is you do on podcasts so you don't miss these. And the offer side of this, I am going to be building my wait list starting now for the newsletter system coming. The doors open September 14th. This is my former program, but with a glow up. So it's formerly Start and Grow Your Email List from scratch. It's getting a major glow up, and it's the how. It's everything I've figured out over sending 290 plus newsletters packaged into one system so that you never sit in front of a blank screen again. Again, I'm telling you this real time, mid pivot, still figuring it out, all the details, but I do know the doors will open September 14th. It will be a limited number of supported spots, and we will begin September 20th. But there's the wait list, and then there's the people on the wait list that are going to be the first to know when the doors open. So first access, discounts if there are any early bonuses. You know me, I love doing that kind of stuff. So the link is in the show notes. So make sure you get on the newsletter system wait list. And yeah, I want to leave you with the thing I most want you to take away from today. You're allowed to change your mind. Especially when you're a solopreneur, you're allowed to be really, really good at something and even known for it and still decide that that's not the thing you want to go deep on for the rest of your life in your business. Being good at something's not the same as it being your life's work. And I've spent a lot of years now feeling very scattered, doing a little bit of a lot of things and never being able to pinpoint why I felt so off. And it took getting trimmed back, being put outside for 3 weeks to really see it clearly. And I want to be known for one thing and not a little bit of everything anymore. I want to go deep. So this is me going deep. Don't have all the answers, but I have a very clear direction. And it's the first time in a very long time that this has felt really good. So come with me. It's going to be a super fun ride. All right. M. Connors signing off. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on the Creative Bodega podcast. If you love this episode, please be sure to share it with a fellow solopreneur who could use a little content creation inspiration. And hey, don't forget to check out the show notes for any resources I mentioned on the episode to help you create content that feels easy and actually gets you results. If you want even more Canva and content tips, head over to my website, thecreativebodega.com, or find me on Instagram under the same name. Until next time, keep creating, keep showing up, and most importantly, try and have a little fun with your content. I'll see you on the next episode.